Cigar Studio in Boston, Massachusetts, and the Gurkha Cigar Studio in beautiful British Columbia. Welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Mitchell Santaga.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Smokin Tabacco Show. My name is Matt Tobacco from SmokinTabacco.com. I am broadcasting live from the JC Newman Cigar Studios. Angel Cuesta, now available from JC Newman. Fantastic cigars. And I am joined once again by my good friend, Mr. Mitchell Santaga of SmokinTabacco.com, who is in beautiful British Columbia. Where are you, Mitchell?
An absolutely beautiful day in beautiful British Columbia, Vancouver, in the Gurkha Cigar Studios. Don't forget to go check out the new Gurkha Ghost Connecticut, everybody. It's smoking great and moving off shelves fast. So it's a nice line extension to an already successful line by Gurkha.
Oh, that's a gangbuster line for them, too. I mean, that's one of their bread and butters right there, that Ghost line.
Oh, yeah.
That Connecticut was such a great addition. For me, the Ghost Gold was actually a favorite of mine for a long time. When I heard they were adding Connecticut, I was actually very intrigued. And the first time I had it, I was like, wow, that's a great cigar. So it is. Get them while they're available. They're selling fast.
Get them while they're hot.
Get them while they're hot, Don't miss out.
I saw, you were smoking outside. It looked pretty nice where you were today.
We are reaching mid to high 70s, and I think tomorrow we're going to start cracking 80.
Let's see.
So
Let's
we
see
have a
my
lot of pollen
conversion
right
here.
now. We got the spring pollen here in New England, which is atrocious.
Yeah, we're hitting about 70 today. Supposed to get to a high of, let's say,
Surprised it's
80,
not-
87.
Surprised it's not lower than that all the way up there in the Great White North.
I know, right? I do live in an igloo half the year, so.
I've never been to Canada, as you know, and I would love to go to Canada, and someday we're obviously going to make that happen. But I've only gone off of what people have told me about Canada. Gracie's here, our good friend Gracie Rodriguez. Good afternoon. 90s in Texas, hot and humid.
Ooh.
So the humidity is not something to brag about. So I give her the sympathy because we know how humidity is. But 90s is nice. I mean, 90s is about, if there's no humidity, that's about as hot as I like it. Anything over that is just
Yeah.
too hot. But once there's humidity involved, I mean, everything just kind of sucks because that humidity, it just destroys you.
Yeah, it does.
That's why I love Las Vegas and like the Southwest and Arizona because
The
it's
dry.
dry. Everyone always
Yep.
complains it's still hot, and it's like, yeah, but it's dry. It's dry.
Yep.
I like it. You know what I mean? That's where me and
I-
Nicole eventually want to.
I like it like in the mid 70s. Mid to high 70s, that's perfect for me. I don't need anything more than that. Yeah.
Mike's with us from Chicago, 78, no humidity. Yeah, the humidity will hit us soon. But we had a good show last week. We had Brandon Marsh from Big Sky Cigars on, which was awesome. If you haven't heard of them, go check them out. Some great cigars that are coming out of a Montana-based brand, up and coming, really making some moves. So.
Yeah, cool. Really cool fly fishing kind of vibe,
Yeah.
right? Very fishing and Montana oriented, really just down to earth kind of guys, and I don't know. I really dig their whole shtick, their whole the way they're approaching their marketing. It's really really unique.
Yeah, they've done a really great job. So if you haven't seen that episode from last week, be sure to go and check that out. Go to SmokinTabacco.com. You can find all the links, especially everywhere podcasts are found. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and everywhere you can get your podcasts. I just wanted to take a minute also before we get into the show. We do have two guests with us I'm going to get to in a second. But I just want to make an update because I've been getting so many messages. So in regards to the fundraiser raffle, anyone who won a prize, you should have been notified. I've said this hundreds of times. Make sure you check your email, check your spam folder, check everything. If you won something, actually, everyone should have gotten an email. But I don't know. I've heard some people who I know didn't win because I've looked them up, didn't get anything. Please check your email. All of the prizes as of today are gone. Like, they're all out. All the ones we have and are out. They're on their way, and everyone should have those ones by the end of the week. Mostly anyone who won anything from Arturo Fuente or any of the really higher priced items we had in possession, those have been sent out. Please make sure that you keep an eye out for them, but you should have them by the end of the week. So there's that. everything else, like LFD and Steve Saka's thing and Pete Johnson's thing and all those other stuff, the Rabbit Air, all those people had those. They were notified, and to my understanding, because they all emailed me back with tracking numbers, all of those have been shipped as well. So all of the prizes, I believe, are shipped as of right now. So if you haven't gotten it yet, you should get it by the end of the week. If you don't have a prize by next week, then reach out to me, because you should definitely have it by no further than Monday. God forbid, if maybe something got delayed. If after Monday you don't have something, let me know. Also, most people were sent a tracking number too, so you should be able to track it on your own. But if you don't have one or whatever, or and you don't get something you're expecting by like middle of next week, let me know, and then we'll really look into it. But everything is being sent out. Things got sent out in waves and stuff like that, because it's a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of coordination that goes on, and I also can't control what other people do and how fast they ship stuff. So, but I'm almost 100% positive that every single prize is on its way if you don't have it already. Just as an update, I wanted to make sure I put that out there for everyone today. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for being involved once again. But that's pretty much the end. That's the end of the fundraiser for this year. So
and the beginning for the fundraiser next year.
yeah, which it's a little early. We still got some things kicking around in the think tank, but I don't know. Maybe we'll leak those details around the holidays when we're peering into next year. So as of right now, that's it. Fundraiser talk is over. We're done. We did great. 52,000, almost 53,000. So thank you to everyone involved, and we are gonna transition now to pre-PCA season. So let's bring our guests on to the show. They come to us from Ash Quarterly. They've been on the show before. You guys probably know who they are. Jason and Rebecca. And let me just do... There they are. Hey, guys. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
How's it going?
It is going great. It's another beautiful Wednesday evening. Just smoking some cigars, hanging out. It's what we do best. So I wanted to ask you guys, where are you right now? There's like this mystical starry sky behind you.
Yeah.
What's going on?
We're in a Mercedes Sprinter van. It's like kind of decked out like a little party bus kind of thing.
Oh.
You get to smoke it.
Yeah, here, we'll do
I was going to say, you kind of look like you're in like a party limo.
Oh, wow. Look
So,
at that. Is it?
the TV up there, not on, starlights. There's some cactus chairs, humidor, fridge.
That's badass. That's badass.
So we need to have date night in here like once a month because we could watch TV, drink, and smoke cigars.
And that's yours that you did all that?
So the lounge that I run, it's a thing that we use for our boardroom, like our private members.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. That's really cool. That's really, really cool.
That is awesome.
When I was in Vegas for TPE, me and Kevin Nicole, who's also Smokin Tabacco, formerly of Cigar Dojo, for those who don't know. Many people know who he is. He lives in Las Vegas. Him and his beautiful wife, Barbara. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah. We went to the Tap and Ash, and it was packed in the front. It was packed in the back in the members area. So like, hey, we got the mobile lounge outside. If you guys want to hang out there, there's no one in there. And we went out there, and that was pretty badass. I mean, it was just us in there. It was cool. It was heated. They had the music going. It was comfortable. It was pretty spacious. There was no cigars in their humidor, but they have a humidor in there, so if they take it to events or whatever.
Yeah.
I've been pretty impressed with some of those. I haven't been in a lot of those mobile lounges, but the few I've been in, I'm like, it's pretty cool. I like this. I like this vibe. I can get down with this.
They're pretty neat. Some people have done some neat stuff. This, I mean, not really fully a mobile lounge. It's more like a private mobile lounge. Like we took it to JC Newman for a little factory tour.
Oh, nice. That's really cool.
Yeah.
That is really
cool.
So
it's like tailgating and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or just sitting out there and having a cigar and talking to you. Perfect.
You can go camping in it, Just bring some.
Oh, I said I'm going to spend the day here.
Under the stars.
I feel like if I had one of those, At first, I'd be like, this is cool, and I'd hang out in it in a little bit, and then I'd stop for a while, and then I would meander back in, and I'd be like, I forgot how cool this thing is, and I should use it more. And then what would happen is I would just be in there all the time. And
Oh,
even when I didn't like really need to be, like it's beautiful outside, and maybe we should just be outside and enjoy. No, I'd be in my mobile cigar lounge, on a beautiful day, smoking my cigars, just because I'd be like, this is like my cave now. And that's what would happen if I had one. I would just eventually migrate, and then I would just live in there, which maybe could be problematic. I don't know if Nicole would be very happy with that, but I would probably be super happy. But that's beside the point. Well, I don't know if that'll happen. So maybe one day we'll see how that journey goes. But it is exciting to have you guys back on the show. You guys were on the show for the first time, I want to say, 2.5 years ago.
Last month was a year.
Was it? I thought it was longer than that.
Maybe the month before. It came up on my feed.
I feel like it was longer than that too.
2 or 3 months ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say, to me it feels like 2 years. Like I can't even believe we've been doing the show for 3 years at this point. So
Yeah, no, I think it was during like the first year because I seem to remember your anniversary show coming up.
yeah, it might have been. It might have been.
Or it was right around there, maybe when we're planning it. I seem to remember something about the anniversary show.
Yeah, so the first anniversary show was April of 2021. So maybe it was yeah, you know what? You know why? Because I think it was you guys donated something for our first raffle, which would have been in 21. So I think it was 2 years ago.
You're wrong.
Whatever.
Hey, I don't want Rebecca to be wrong. I was just, I'm just saying, like, I can't believe it's been that long. You know what I mean? It's just.
I need her to do it.
Oh man, let's start with a couple of some simple stuff. What are you guys smoking tonight for cigars?
I'm having I almost forgot.
Diamond Crown
JC
Magnum.
Newman, yeah. Diamond Crown Maxima.
Oh, great
And
cigar.
I'm going Black Diamond. We figured, JC Newman studio. We should smoke some JC Newman.
That was my idea.
Wow.
It
Good
was her
choices.
idea.
Is that the new reblend of the Black Diamond?
Yeah.
It is very good. I like it. I'm gonna have it today. Oh, whatever.
I
No, sorry.
really enjoyed the reblend of the Black Diamond.
What did you
And
give that?
Maximus is great.
Because I know we reviewed it.
Yeah, if you go to the website, you can go find out.
Oh, you know what? That's well played. Well played. It's why we keep Mitchell around. This is why. Yeah, you can head over to SmokinTabacco.com and head over to our reads and reviews, and you can find that review. You can find out what Mitchell gave it.
Great cigar, great reblend. I thought they did a great job. Really balanced, good complexity, and the construction on all my samples that I smoked were just perfect. Like, just great.
Yeah, we also have more reviews coming. I think Mitchell has some stuff coming out. Kevin's got a bunch of reviews that are coming out soon. So we've just been getting caught up with some stuff, and then we had the fundraiser, so everyone's been busy with that. But now everyone's kind of settled back into their normal business, and we have a lot of reviews coming out soon. So make sure you guys keep an eye out for that. Mitchell, what are you smoking? Oh, All Saints.
All Saints. Mickey Peg in the house.
So that's
St. Francis. The Miter, the new little Vitola. I so far really enjoying this. I really like the St. Francis blend. It's delicious. And,
that's my favorite cigar that you're smoking.
Yeah, I love everything Mickey Peg has blended so far. And the St. Francis is definitely up there, I'd say.
So the St. Francis Miter, which is a new size. If you head over to the number 2 guyscigars.com, you can find that cigar for $10.89 for a single cigar, or a box will set you back to $13.99. I am also smoking All Saints cigars tonight. I am smoking the Colorado Churchill, which you also can find at the number 2 guyscigars.com today. And that is going to be, oops, sorry, I lost my place here. My bad. And that cigar will set you back $11.79, or a box will be $139.99 only at the number 2 guyscigars.com. And I have to say, I am also smoking All Saints. It's one of my favorite brands. It's been a brand that everyone at the Smokin Tobacco team's been smoking a shit ton of in the last year, 2 years. It's been a popular. I mean, the St. Francis, the Colorado. Both of them have been on our lists in the past couple of years. The All Saints, the St. Francis Robusto was our number 2 cigar of the year last year. This year we had the Habano Huge on the list, and I think we also had the Colorado Churchill on the list. I can't remember where, but I think Mitchell, were they both in the top 10?
I think the Churchill came in around closer to 15. I forget exactly.
Oh, okay. And I know the Habano was in the top 10 because that scored highly.
I think
in
we
your
gave that
review.
they gave that like a 7 or something like that.
But in addition to also JC Newman cigars are obviously available at twoguyscigars.com. In addition to all their brands, one of the widest varieties of cigars in the industry, the number 2guyscigars.com is the place to go to get your cigars. And we are cutting and lighting our cigars tonight with, I actually got the wrong lighter, but Cigar Blondie accessories, featuring the signature flat fan blade lighter and the double guillotine cutter, which I have right here. Available in 3 finishes, chrome, white, and black. Only available from cigarblondie.com. Alrighty, guys. Now that we're settled into the show and we got that out of the way, let's talk about you guys. So the last time you were on, I believe, so remind me again, how long have you guys been doing Ash Quarterly? Because I can't remember, and I apologize.
No, you're good. So, let's see. This December will be 5 years from when we put out the first issue.
Okay.
So, a little over 4.5.
So I was going to say, last time you guys were on, I think it was established, but I think it was still kind of new.
Oh, yeah.
And now
we're still the small guys.
Oh yeah, I mean everyone's growing. I mean we're still growing. We're we try to make our strides every day, but that's part of building anything. What would you guys say that you have done differently, or what has changed at Ash Quarterly since the last time we spoke? Have you guys changed the magazine at all, or been able to expand into other avenues? Like what have you guys done to continue on that growth?
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, kind of constantly changing everything to a degree, you kind of always got to be evolving and tweaking and all that. I'm trying to remember when we chatted with you last time, did we have the rating club going, the monthly club?
I can't remember. I'm trying to
remember. I don't know. I think it might have been before we started that, or it might have been the launch of that. So if not, I mean, that was one of the big things that we started doing that kind of kicked myself for not doing from day one. Yeah. So because when we launched, it was a magazine that came with cigars once a quarter. That was the deal. So we didn't do ratings at all because I don't personally believe in the way ratings are done in the print world, right? Just not a fan of it, never have been. So I want to do something different. And, we kept trying to think of what we can do monthly because everyone kept saying, only once a quarter, you forget. And I'm like, I get that. And we didn't want to launch another Cigar of the Month club. So many people do that so well. And I'm not wanting to get in the business of Ash Quarterly being retail. I'm not trying to compete with the retail shops.
Yep.
So we came up with, hey, let's do a monthly club, but have that be how we do our ratings. So it's all consumer driven because we believe in giving people the voice. Because why should 1 or 5 people in a room decide this cigar is the best cigar this year? Right? I'm not a fan. So we started that up, and that's been doing great. We cap it at 100 a month, so we're never, it's not about money. It's literally about getting the ratings. And kind of speaking of All Saints, so the St. Francis Toro is the highest thing that's ever been rated since we started doing that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Number 1 last year.
No, 2021.
And we actually was working their booth with them at the Great Smoke this year, and it was actually funner to be behind the scenes, hanging out with them versus like trying to get your cigars. But this year people were calmer, they weren't pushing everybody, so it was much smoother this year.
Yeah, no, I had a blast working the booth with Mickey. He's a good guy.
Oh, I love Mickey. He's a,
Oh,
hit- hit-
fantastic.
Hilarious.
was
He's funny with everyone. He got nicknames for everybody.
yeah. Was Frank Leo there too?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
it was a good time, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So we
sounds like
did
a good
that. We not last year, but the year before, we started doing awards, and that was another thing. I'm like, why didn't I do this from day one?
Steve Saka went live.
Yeah, Saka cleared house this past year, man. It was ridiculous. Like, he got Man of the Year, Cindy got Woman of the Year, they got Company of the Year, Consumer Engagement, and those are all voted on by people. So
Saka
just
got an
see-
award from us this year, and he got Best Innovation last year for Stillwell. He got Best Show Guest this year, and already, it's very early in the year, but I mean, there is still potential for him to get one, maybe two awards this year. So I don't know. No surprise there, and I have to say, I mean, it's funny because everywhere Steve goes, he brings in one of the biggest audiences. He cleans house with awards. I just, you can't, whether you love him or you hate him,
or both.
or both, you got to
Yeah.
give him credit. I mean, he pulls in some performance that even there's some even bigger names that I don't see pull in. It's mind blowing. Steve is, I don't know. He's a very special guy.
Well, he's very knowledgeable. So we hung out in the Cigar Hustler for like 6 hours, and you're learning the whole time.
Anytime I get a chance to sit down with him, I take it. The guy's just wealth of knowledge.
Oh,
He's
so
a literal genius. He's literally a genius. It's insane.
He's brutally honest, but I respect that.
Oh yeah, the first time I chatted with him in this kind of capacity, like once we started the magazine up, he got ran into an event or something as consumer years ago. But as soon as he found out that we're doing print, he was like, "You're a fucking idiot." That was the first thing he said to me. So
Then he advertised with us
yeah.
3 years
I feel
later.
like that's his go-to opener.
Oh yeah.
You're
like,
talking to me.
That's it.
You
He fucked
fucking
everybody.
idiot. pretty much.
Oh my God! That sounds like Steve. No, I mean,
Yeah, right.
I feel my thing with Steve is, I feel like the more he gets to know you, the more he likes you, unless you give him a reason not to.
Oh, absolutely.
And once he likes you, like, you're in, and like it's like what's a good analogy? Maybe this isn't the most accurate, but do you guys remember The Office when Steve Carell left and then Will Ferrell did a few episodes as like the new manager?
Yeah.
And he started that inner circle club. I feel like that's kind of how Steve is. It's like once you're in the inner circle, it's like you're good. But if you're not in that inner circle, he's like, "Oh, who are you? Oh, hi. Yeah, okay. Well, oh, you do print? Wow, you're a fucking idiot. I don't even want to talk to you." But then like 6 months later, he's like, "Oh yeah, Jason, I really like you. You're doing print. That's awesome." It's like, oh,
Yeah,
okay. It was funny. We caught up with Steve at TPE, and one of the first things he says to me in the interview, not even like off camera, like, "Hey, like on the side," he says it in front of the whole. He's like, "I'm really not proud of the interview that I gave you when I was on the show last time. I felt like it wasn't my best performance." And I was like, "I thought it was a great fucking show. I mean, it's it's like our second highest rated episode of all time." And he's like, "Nah, I want to redo that because I don't feel good about it. So we need to get that going because it's gonna bother me." I'm like, "Okay." So we have him booked. He's coming back on in a couple months. Mostly because Steve's like, "Hey, I gotta make that." So it's like everyone knows how he is as like a blender, and then he comes on a show and like it's not even his show, and he did great, but he doesn't feel as 100%. So he's like, "I need to come back on your show because I need to do a better episode next time." It's like,
He's 100% a perfectionist.
Oh yeah.
Who was your number one most views?
What was that?
What was your number one most views?
On YouTube, it was Pila Kangri, who came out with the Boss of the Block cigar with Grey Cliff last year. on YouTube, that was the highest. Steve is second. On the downloads, I believe Steve was number one. And then, of course, all his trade show interviews from last year.
Yeah.
He blew everyone out of the water on that one. So collectively, across all platforms, he was number one. So on the video though, he's second. But on just his show interview that he was on was second. She was the highest on YouTube. But yeah, every time we upload something from him, it's funny. It just goes. And it just takes off, and I don't even know how it happens, but it always just it blows everyone else away. And he's got such a following out there that I didn't even realize. Or he's just got a bunch of fake accounts and he likes and subscribes and just to inflate his numbers. I don't know. I wouldn't put it past him.
It's weird to think that they say he's a boutique cigar line, because to me he is over and beyond that. But
yeah, I know what you mean. I think a lot of it just here we are, like, you guys are the guests on the show, and we're all over here talking about Steve Saka and Dunbarton Tobacco.
Right? I see what he does.
I know. I see. He's not even here, and he's dominating the show. It's this is what he does. This is what he does.
If you say his name enough, he'll just show up in the comments.
He's like Beetlejuice. And you say it too many times. He's like, "Hey, I heard you guys are talking about me. I'm here."
Exactly.
That would be fantastic if he just popped up on screen.
That would be awesome.
That'd make my day.
If he randomly popped in, it was like, "Hey, I heard you guys were talking about me," I'd be like, you know what? I'll send you a link if you want to come on and say hello. Because I mean, who knows? Who knows what would happen? We would be here all night.
I don't know what time is it.
We would.
It's probably at least 4 drams in.
4? Come on. 5 or 6. Sorry, Rebecca. What were you saying?
We did one with him and Mickey, and I went to bed, but apparently Mickey and Steve are on there hours later.
Yeah, we did this thing for a little bit that we might bring back in some kind of capacity called a Cigar With series. So we put together brand specific samplers. So we did it with Matt Booth, we did it with Southern Draw, so we did it with the top 3 cigars of the previous year. So Mickey with All Saints, he won number 1. Arizona, you remember? I say remember because I don't really see much of them around anymore. But Eddie, he was on there, and then Saka, man, and that. That thing went 5 hours.
Mickey got fucked up, I heard.
Oh yeah, Mickey had a good time. That was amazing.
Yeah,
you know, that Mickey to go to bed.
There's been a lot of times where, especially after Spare Notes, because Mickey often watches the Spare Notes show on Saturday nights, and that's a late night show. And there's been times at 11:30, almost midnight, the show's over, and I'm still out here, and I'm editing the episode and all the other stuff that I do once we're done. And Mickey will call me on the phone, be like, "Hey, great show." And I'll be like, "Thanks. Well, how's it going?" And I'll just kind of catch up with him. And we'll get into this conversation. And I swear to God, last time he did that, I was having a great time. And I must have smoked, I must have started and finished almost 2 cigars. And I looked at my phone. It was 3:45 in the morning. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know. And I was just like, Mickey, I'm like, I would love to continue to chat with you, but we've been on the phone for 3 hours. I'm like, I really got to go to bed. And he was like, oh, yeah. Yeah, no worries. We'll catch up another time. And I'm like, I mean, I think we have caught up. I'm like, but it's so much fun, and you don't even realize that the time passes. Which I think I am due for another Mickey Peg chat, which I might have to call him this week. I don't know. I'll see. I'll see if he's busy. But yeah, no, it is. It's amazing how these things go. I mean, you guys have also. You guys have been going to the trade show. I know that you guys were at PCA last year. Was that your first PCA trade show?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yes, they've been at TPE twice.
Yeah, I can't keep track of them anymore, man.
Yeah.
But I'm only doing one a year. It's one or the other, and this year it's PCA.
Yeah, I mean that's if push comes to shove. I mean that's really the show.
Yeah, I love TPE. I had a blast at TPE. It's a great time. A little more intimate. I think I was able to accomplish more at TPE, but there's just more at PCA,
Yeah, but at TPE, you would say have their music blasting, which is fun. I love their rap music, but you hear that all the way in the back.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you might be hearing it at PCA by next year.
Yep.
The rumor is that they are considering returning as the third to return for 2024. So you never know; they might be at that show too.
I think it's
Last week during our news segment, we announced Altadas was now saying that they would be in. They are officially on the PCA floor map, as well as General will be going by way of Forged, and they will be using what was supposed to be the Alec Bradley booth, will now be a Forged cigar booth. So two have returned, and the rumor mill right now is that they plus Drew Estate could return for 2024 as well. It sounds like, there's several issues that caused the Big Four to leave, but as we said before, but the moving of the show, I think, was a big one for them and allowed, really got them thinking. I think that's why we're starting to see them return, which is great for everyone in the industry, but it's also great for the consumers too, because, coming to the trade show, it's first of all, it's good for the trade show. It brings more money for PCA, which, does things outside of the trade show, like in Washington and all that, which is great. It's also great for the retailers who can actually take the time to, the retailers who go, take the time to meet with them and connect with them, and that's how things outside of just bringing in new cigars and stuff like that to the stores. They meet with people, maybe they get some stuff lined up for events or what have you. So there's a lot of other things other than just getting cigars for the store or buying new stuff. There's also a lot of other things that come out of retailers attending the trade show that affect the consumer at the end, which is really important. That's a big part of why we cover it and talk about it so much, is because it's not just for the industry. It all kind of trickles down, and eventually it gets to the consumer. And by having certain people at the show, especially, dramatically affects that. So that's why it is pre-PCA season. Not really full swing, but we're getting there. I think we're going to begin that on Spare Notes this weekend. But so I'll save all that talk for then. But with that, I'm going to hit our news segment really quick, and then we'll circle back. So our news is once again brought to you by Micallef Cigars. If you head over to MicallefCigars.com today, you can sign up to become official Micallef ambassador. The new Micallef Leyenda Toros, I think it's a Toro and a Robusto, will be shipping soon. Those are being released, and rumor mill is that Micallef has even more in store for us this year. So we're excited to see what else they have up their sleeve. Speaking of PCA, one of the big news stories this week that came across my desk was, last year we talked a lot about NFTs. LFD launched their golden NFT project that just was wildly successful. Abe and Pete Johnson have announced that a Tatuaje Anarchy will be made available as an NFT, along with a bunch of other things that have yet to be disclosed by way of Smokin, but they will be available for the public. But the first cigar NFT was actually from United a couple years ago. They released, I think it was 10 NFTs of the Atabey Black, which was a concept at the time. And now United has announced that the Atabey Black will actually exist, and it is going to debut at PCA later this year. And the Atabey Black Ritos is coming to the market in the later half of 2023. After going through selected tobacco owner Nelson Alfonso's 5-year aging process, the cigars are now ready to be enjoyed in the United cigar lounges across the United States. Launched as an NFT in 2021, Atabey Black Ritos was the first NFT cigar in the world, limited to 25 single cigar and 10 boxes as unique digital images. The Atabey Black Ritos NFT sales proceeds were raised for Cigar Rights of the World, and now the cigar will be featured at PCA 2023 in Las Vegas, Nevada, with a scheduled ship time to retailers in December of 2023, so just in time for the holiday season. Pretty interesting, pretty exciting. A few weeks ago, they announced that they were actually going to be taking orders for their Atabey humidor that you guys were all there, including you, Mitchell. So I think you guys all remember that from last year. It was like the
amazing.
centerpiece of the.
gorgeous.
I was like looking at it, and Ed Santamaria, who works for Dave Garofalo at Two Guys Smoke Shop. He's one of the primary buyers and general managers, and he actually came into the booth with Dave, and I was standing there, and I said, "Can I just give you some money right now?" And he's like, "It's not even available." And I was like, "Can I just like?" And Nicole's like, "No, come on." I'm like, "We need to have this. This is like a work of art. It's like a museum piece. It's beautiful." So yeah, no, it sounds like United is ramping up to have another interesting, busy, exciting year at the trade show. Last year, we talked about it at length, Mitchell. I'm sure you remember. I know you weren't on the show, but I know
Yeah.
you watched them all. But that was one of the booths that we were excited to see, and it's beginning to look that way again this year. It's still a little early, but it's beginning to look like that's going to be the booth, to one of the booths to be at this year. So more will follow on that as we move forward, and we are going to
Look,
go back to our guests. Let me bring that back on.
Atabey or selected tobacco is kind of like filling that void that Davidoff left with this really exquisite premium model, right? Like everything they do is premium. It is high end stuff, and their booth, reflects that.
Right.
I don't think there's very many other brands in the sphere that do kind of that, right? Like there's brands that obviously have really, or companies that have really like high end cigars, and then they do some budget stuff. Like everything Selected Tobacco does is high end.
Yeah, and
but
then so you have them, and then you also have El Septimo, who
Yep.
has also been on the market for the last couple of years since the Big Four have left, and that's another brand. I mean, today there was another story that went out today, that they had hired Michael Wasp from Rocky Patel. That's the second executive from Rocky Patel that has now gone to work for El Septimo. So that's another like ultra premium brand that I think a lot of people were kind of like, like what is this all about? It's been kind of a chatter. I don't know if down at the consumer level it's been as chattery as it has been more on the industry side, which is a lot of curiosity. But they're growing. They're taking over lounges. They're hiring staff. They're building up. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes, but so far, I mean that's another one that's right up there too. And to kind of what you said before, they've taken over a lot of what used to be Davidoff lounges, and now they're El Septimo lounges. So,
Yep.
very very interesting chain of events. So
I was very close to buying a single Atabey Black NFT. Very, very close. I had the Ethereum, but I just didn't pull the trigger.
what could have been?
Yeah.
What could have been?
Yeah.
Jason, so while we're on this topic, I'm gonna rope you into this too. When we talk about the ultra premium market, at least down in your neck of the woods, have you guys seen a lot of the Selected Tobacco and El Septimo products down there? Are they really getting popular? Are they taking off? Like, what from your perspective, what have you seen from those brands?
Yeah. So, it's interesting. My perspective has changed a lot. So I don't know. I know I put it out there and I don't talk about it a whole lot, but I took over as the GM at the Executive Cigar Shop and Lounge in Sanford.
Yep.
So I've been doing that as well. So now I'm seeing the retail side of it, which is so different,
Very different.
which I love. So for us here, we definitely see some of that ultra premium. We had El Septimo in, didn't really move as much. I think it's tough coming into a market with that kind of price point.
Right.
So they've definitely got a lot of work ahead of them. But their blends are fantastic. Everyone that tried it loved it. But it's a hard sell when you're pushing a $50 cigar that no one ever heard of. It's tough. So where like Padron sells like hotcakes here, man.
Mm-hmm.
Padron's like the number one cigar there. And then even stuff like the EPC, the Auras. Have you seen those?
Yes.
Yeah. So we got that. That moves pretty well, surprisingly. It's $100 stick. Those Cohiba Spectres, like that, ultra premium is kind of becoming just premium. I feel like now.
Yeah, and it's funny because you mentioned Padron, EPC, Cohiba, part of General, but even the Cohiba name, names that people recognize, that people know, and now that you're in the retail side of things, of course, I mean you're seeing this hands-on every day, and you're kind of in that ecosystem, which the retail part of the cigar industry is kind of like an island of its own. It's very different from everything else. I mean, manufacturing is different on its own too, but retail it's its own special little world. But that's really the retail side is really I mean, it's the final point of sale, right, to where the consumer then takes the product. So you guys are the ones that interact with the consumers the most, and you see what they like, you see what they smoke, you see what they buy, you see what obviously doesn't sell, what they don't buy, what they're not smoking, and it's interesting. Obviously, people will have well, I don't want to say no problem, but people have a less resistance purchasing something at a higher dollar value from a brand that they know. Now, El Septimo comes in, and that could be the best cigar that anyone's ever smoked, and for the same to a little more than a Padron or an Atabey or something like that people have heard of, it's like, oh well, I don't know, I don't want to spend the money, because there's no confidence there, because they don't know the brand, they don't understand, so
They don't have a track record.
yeah, there's no report there, so it's obviously more difficult, and like you said, at that price point, to get people to come in and spend that money on these new brands, that you're like, hey man, like we smoked them, they're great cigars, you really gotta try them. And like, I don't know, I'm just gonna stick with a Padron. That's the most challenging part, I would say, especially when we talk about that ultra premium. But nowadays, like you said, I agree. I think ultra premium is slowly just becoming premium, because there's a lot more of that stuff, and there's a lot more products coming out that are above that $20 mark.
Yeah.
And especially from brands that people already know, and people are buying them, especially with limiteds. I mean, like, let me ask you this question. So, being in a retailer, what would you say your percentage of limited products that you deal with on a day-to-day basis? Not like core line stuff, just like, limited. Not one brand, like all the brands that you have.
So I would say, for this shop specifically, it's a little different. And not just this one. I mean, every lounge is different. Every lounge sells differently based on their clientele. That's something I've learned very quickly. And then, kind of to a degree, just as a consumer going around to different shops. So here, like, we don't have the cigar geek crowd, is what I kind of like to call it. People like us that want to try everything, that like Lanceros, that, kind of search for that limited stuff. Like, I'll give you a good example. When I first took over here, they had boxes of Sabre Mesa Brule Blues at the time when you could not get the blue anywhere.
Wow, really?
And I'm just like, how is this happening? Stuff like that. So here, we don't move a lot of that stuff. We get it, and
You have an older
we like
crowd,
it.
I feel like.
Well,
Probably.
there's a little bit of the older crowd. It's, the more legacy brands that they kind of go towards. But,
and if I may just add on to that, usually that crowd is very brand loyal too.
Oh, absolutely. It's hard to get somebody to not get their short story. Unless, guess what? Short story's on back order. So now I'm going to show you this. That's the only way to really get them.
Yeah.
Or you give them the cigar, and I'm like, hey, this one's on me. Try it. Like, that's something that works really well. Now, obviously, I'm not doing that with a $60 El Septimo, but
It's true.
When you're just trying to branch out, it's the easiest thing to do.
Well, speaking of prices, we've had a $250 cigar, and it tastes like shit. So there's cigars that are expensive and they're so nasty. And then the Rustica by Drew Estate, I'm like, this cigar tastes so good. And
Like $6.
And then the Cavalier Geneva, the whatever, I absolutely love it. And I feel like they underpriced it. It tastes more expensive. And then you have the gold leaf, so that doesn't make sense.
Thank you for saying we had a $250 cigar and not what the cigar was. So I appreciate that.
I was just gonna say,
it's
it's usually it's pretty good when you don't name names when you're
Yeah.
unless you're me or Coop on Saturday night. Sometimes the names slip out, but hey, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
That happened to us in the last episode, but whatever. It hasn't really caused too many problems, so I'm just gonna roll with it for now. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, no, that's a good point. And it's funny. I hear people talk about that too, and everyone's palate is different. Everyone tastes different things, and like Rebecca just said, you had a $250 cigar and you didn't like it at all. And I've run into people who've tried some really high end stuff that I've enjoyed for the most part. And like, yeah, no, I still prefer this, this $11 Perdomo. I'd rather smoke that. I think that's great versus this cigar that was $47 that everyone was raving about. I had it and I was like, I just didn't love it. I'm gonna smoke my Perdomo, and everyone's entitled to that opinion.
Well, and that's the thing. My whole philosophy is there's not a bad cigar. It's just a cigar I don't like.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean it's bad.
And plus, like, your palate changes. When I first started smoking, I loved C notes. And then I had it like 2 years ago, and I'm like, this smells like aftershave. It was so gross. Why did I smoke it? I don't like it. Now I just like being a full body, and occasionally I'll have like a leather rose or a tobacco, but that's about it.
Yeah, you don't really do the flavors.
Well, he used to smoke cigars for hours on end, so I'm like, just give me one. He gave me Connecticut. I'm like, I didn't like it. So.
Yeah, that's definitely a. It's interesting. You bring up flavored and Connecticut's, and a lot of times that becomes like the beginner. Like, oh, here, we'll try this. Like to get and it's funny. Like you tried a Connecticut in the beginning, if I heard that correctly, and you didn't like it. And and you smoke, I would say, fuller bodied stuff now. And Nicole was kind of the same way. Like I started her off. I mean, she'll tell you her first cigar was an Atabey, but I dispute that because it wasn't. What happened was I was smoking an Atabey, and she was with me, and she wanted to try it, so she tried mine and she liked it. But like, it wasn't like her first like sit down, cut it, and like smoke it all the way through, like and kind of figure it out for herself cigar, which I don't remember what that actually was. But Nicole is one of those people where she'll smoke some mild stuff, but she definitely really enjoys fuller bodied stuff. And I bet you there's a lot of people out there who would probably be surprised by that. She loves something with strength, a lot of darkness to it. That's what I mean. She's not smoking right now, and I'm very curious to see what her palate is like after the baby. Which
definitely she's gonna have a whole fresh palate.
Yeah, I mean it's come up.
Good, because how many of us could just stop smoking cigars for a year?
Oh, man.
That sounds kind of miserable.
Well, actually, the only Connecticut I really enjoy is Southern Draw, the Rose of Sharon, because that Connecticut packs a pretty punch. And I'll smoke that Connecticut any day, but other than that, no. If
That
there's
is
a
a good
dark
cigar.
rack for it.
Yeah, that is a great cigar. That and in the Desert Rose. The Desert Rose is a good one too. I like that one. I remember when that one came out, I was like, ooh, interesting.
All of Southern Draw cigars are like phenomenal, and the owners are like sincerely nice. He loves his wife so much. He makes all the husbands look like assholes because he's like, I see him just sit in every morning because I miss her. Like, he is so in love with her, and it's so sweet. And it's like, take a fucking hint,
No.
But
That's not making me look bad.
yeah, but I mean, it's so sweet because when we first went to TPA, we met them, and his wife was just so inspirational and so kind and sincere. So it's been neat to have them on the show. It's been neat to see them over the years, and we're still going. So it's pretty neat.
For sure.
Yeah, Gracie just added this comment in here. No, not surprised. Do not underestimate women. I'm a full-bodied cigar kind of person. I love the LFD line. I mean, you want to talk about strength. Yeah, LFD. Yeah, those are some strong cigars too.
I had a Room 01 cigar, like Room 101, like a couple years ago. And after I had 2 hits of it, I had to go puke. I mean, it knocked me off my ass.
I think it's what you were eating and stuff that day too, or not eating.
Well, what cigar was it? Which one was it?
The farce. Like, it's not that strong.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just never.
I mean, it's strong, but
It was
you
orange and
smoke
blue.
stronger. I think.
I don't know. That was a rough night.
I wouldn't call the farce like really intense. I mean, it's
No,
definitely not
That's what I'm
mild.
saying. I
But
think it was just what she was eating and stuff that day, or not eating, tired.
I'll tell you, one time, years ago. I mean, like 4 years ago now, 4.5 maybe. I remember when I was still doing the Ashholes podcast before all of this was a thing. One of the episodes we did, was it on the Ashholes? Might have been. I think it was. We did the Southern Draw Jacob's Ladder.
Oh, the Jacob's Ladder?
Yeah, which is a great cigar, and
I love it.
I do think that's a great cigar, and I just remember I didn't finish the cigar. I mean that show is a shorter show, and we were smoking Toros, so I think I got like halfway through, and I was enjoying the cigar, but I just remember we wrapped the show, and I walked off stage, and I was just like, and I think I didn't have anything else to smoke that day. I was at work. I came right from work. I did the show, and I just remember I was like, I gotta go home. Like, and normally I used to hang at the shop for hours after the show, and I was like, I gotta go home. Like, I have a massive headache, and I'm super dizzy. I feel kind of sickish. I just need to go home. Like, I don't feel good. I remember I went home. I took a nice shower, and I laid down for a while. And it took me a few hours, and I felt a little better. But I was like, I don't know if it was the cigar, or if it was, just kind of whatever was going on with me that day. But I just remember I had that cigar, and I just was like, the cigar was great, but I don't feel good.
But also, you get up butt crack early in the morning before everyone else normally does.
Yeah, it's true. I was up at like, I don't know, 5 a.m. that day. So, and that by the time I smoked that cigar, it was like 4 o'clock. So, yeah, it's true. It was already a long day at that point. So, and I tend not to eat a lot during the day too. But not that I don't eat anything, but I try not to eat heavily during the day. But yeah, I don't think I was prepared for that cigar, and and that's the thing. Not many cigars have really done that to me. I mean, the only other time, and I think it was also because I had like 4 cigars that day. I remember I had the Lunatic Perfecto, and I was like a third of the way into that. I was like, I was at a friend's house, and I was like, I gotta leave. I'm just done. Like, really? You all right? I'm like, I gotta go to bed. Like, I feel like shit. Oh, what is this? Oh, sorry. I clicked on something, and now Safari is opening in front of the broadcast, and I'm like, oh crap, what's going on here?
The only cigar, again, I think I just smoked it too fast, was a Perdomo small batch. I just smoked it like ridiculously fast, like in I think like less than 20 minutes.
There we go. Fixed it.
And that was awful. That was that was a rough night, but I don't blame the cigar. That was all my fault.
So we know, all right. So we know what cigars have kind of made me feel squeamish. We know Rebecca's had Room 101 Farce that didn't sit well with her. Jason, what's a cigar that you had that was maybe a good cigar? It wasn't a bad cigar, but it just did not sit well with you.
First seen you, huh? Second for a cigar.
Well, no, I'm sure it's happened. But I don't have one like off the top of my head that. So I guess I'm lucky. I haven't had such a bad experience that I remember it, like puking in the corner. Now drinks, yeah, I've had plenty of those that I've regretted.
It was.
So I don't really drink much anymore.
Well, it's easier to do with alcohol, though. I feel like.
Yeah,
and to be fair, those 2 cigars I never threw up from, and they were both great. I enjoyed them; they tasted good, and I didn't actually I didn't throw up from them, but I definitely felt sick after I smoked them, and I just think I don't know. And I know they're both stronger cigars, but it just didn't sit well with me.
I think I try to catch it a little early if I can. Like, if I start feeling like, man, then I'll make sure I have a soda or eat like a little Hershey Kiss or a Lifesaver or something like that.
Keep that sugar on you.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then power through, or just say, yeah, no, it's probably not a good idea.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a cigar than feel like shit the rest of the night.
Yeah.
I'm not really big on wasting. I'll relight the next day. If I light the cigar, especially if it's expensive, I'll relight that shit. I'll cut it, relight, whatever.
Yeah, we don't agree on that one.
If it's like a $30 cigar, I can't finish it. You bet your ass.
Then you finish it. That's my philosophy.
I'm like the cigar garbage disposal sometimes in our relationship, where like if Nicole won't finish a cigar, like if she's just tired for the night and whatever,
Hand it off.
she'll be like, I don't want to waste this, but like I'm kind of tired, like I want to go to bed. And usually I outlast her in terms of tiredness or whatever. So I'm like, all right, I'll hang around, like leave it, and I'll finish it. If there's enough there. I mean, if she's close to the band, I'm like, you smoked most of it. But like, if she's still got like a ways to go, I'm like, all right, leave it, I'll finish it, and I'll usually finish off her cigars for her. So it kind of works out. I very rarely. There was one time she left a cigar, and I didn't finish it for her because I was done too. And I just remember going back the next day, and I'm like, man, what a waste. But like, do I finish it now, or has it already been out for too long? And I think I finished it. Just 'cause
Just
I was
like Ziploc those and send them to Rebecca because apparently she'll smoke them a week later.
Well, wait till your wait till your kid becomes a toddler, then you become a food like garbage disposal because once they don't want to eat their food, like, oh, I'll eat it, and then you're just like eating all their leftovers.
Mm.
I did.
Mitchell, is this true? You're the only other actual parent here,
Oh yeah, that's why I make sure I cook my kid good food.
so that you can finish it.
Yeah. But I've been that way since I was a kid. I do that with all my friends. I finish all their food. I am the garbage disposal.
Oh wow, really? You'd finish your friend's food too? That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Hey man, I don't like when people waste food. So, they'd be like, "Oh, I don't want to take it home," and I'd be like, "Dude, just give it to me."
Wow.
Especially now when food is more expensive, I'm like, you better finish that piece of chicken or I'm gonna, or give it to the dog. I'm terrible. I give all the dogs. Well, and 2 dogs and a cat. Especially our youngest, she'll break off all her food and make sure each pet gets a bite.
That's like Carney. Carney's kind of the same way. Carney, like, he won't leave food. Like,
Yeah.
no,
I don't leave food on my plate.
like if you're like, if you're at a dinner with him, whatever, and there's like some food left over, like, I there's been times where like I could tell he's kind of done, and then the table settles and everyone's kind of done, but there's still a little bit left, and he'll be like, "Well, I mean, I'm gonna finish this if you're not gonna eat it."
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he's another one. He won't let it go to waste. So, I don't like to waste food too, but I'm also like, I don't want to just stuff it in me and then feel like shit. So I'm just like,
I
whatever.
embrace the pain. I embrace the pain.
You embrace the pain. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. I have so many more questions, but I don't want to ask them on the air because it would just be too much. But I have so many questions.
You'll see in Vegas.
Oh yeah, I know. It's gonna be scary. I'm gonna have to put you in your own room. I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. So one of the last things I want to bring up with you guys is Rebecca. I know we talked about this a little bit yesterday, and if you guys don't have anything, that's fine. But I know you guys are featuring Nicole in the magazine in the upcoming issue, I believe. That's correct.
Yeah, so it's actually already online digitally.
Okay.
So the digital stuff, people can read that interview right now.
Okay.
Print is on its way. Print has been awful. That's why we're kind of phasing out of that for now.
The print
just the
completely?
supply chain issue. To a degree.
Okay.
To a degree. And I'm hoping it's temporary, but the supply chain issues have not gotten better to the point where, like, we'll print an issue, post it digitally. By the time we get that printed issue in, we've already published the next one digitally.
Okay.
So it's so outdated. Like, I mean, the supply chain on paper has been awful. Which, I mean, we've seen it in other parts of the industry with boxes and bands. Like, that's been every manufacturer's nightmare. It hasn't been getting the cigars made. It's been getting the packaging. It's awful.
And Nicole looks very beautiful in her interview too. So
I'm looking at it right now, and of course she does, and not that I have to say that, but it is true. But no, I wanted to thank you guys for highlighting her, and that's really cool.
I really like her.
I know you do. I know you do, and I do too. Clearly. I get a little one on the way. I stuck around for a while. But yeah, no, I mean, she is good, and I do miss having her on the show with me too. But
No, I can't. I know I can't replace her.
Mitchell, there's a lot of things you cannot replace. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, you do well on the show, and I like having you here too. So, don't fear. You're.
How far along is she?
So we are the exact week. I don't remember off the top of my head, even though I know she's probably said it like 100 times. I do know that we're just at the end of the second trimester, so we're getting ready to enter the third trimester. So we're almost there. We're due at the end of August, so a couple more months. I know the baby's around 22-ish pounds by now, I want to
She's
say.
probably close to what, 28 weeks then? 30 weeks?
Yeah. Maybe
That's
20,
awesome.
maybe 27, I want to say. Not sure. If she was still in the comments, I'm sure she would chime in, but she hasn't been chiming in, so she might have fallen asleep. So, I'm not, but yeah, we're at the end of the second trimester. So, I mean, we're 2/3 of the way there. We're heading down to the final stretch. So, I know she's already been planning, like, she wants a cigar and all that as soon as the baby comes out. But then she's already mapped it out. She's read all about, because she wants to breastfeed and all of that. She's like, I have to make sure that I have enough milk for like so many hours after I have a cigar, so that like, because the baby can't have the milk right away. She's already like got it down to a science. Like, she already knows like when she can like smoke as soon as she's ready to. Obviously, she's not gonna smoke like that day, but she's already like, I have to make sure I have this amount of milk so that way I can smoke, and then I have time to like get rid of that milk so that I have fresh milk again. And she's got it all mapped out. She's definitely a planner. She or at least she thinks she does. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, no, she's rolling away there. So, but anyway, I just want to say thank you for that, and for everyone obviously to check out Ash Quarterly always, regardless of who's in it. Always check them out. Give us a quick, just for the listeners and the viewers at home, just a quick rundown on how they can find you, how they can subscribe to you, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So pretty easy, ashquarterly.com for the website that has all the digital issues. Also has the reviewer packs is what we're calling them now, the monthly club, where you can rate the cigars for the magazine so you have a voice. On social, everything's at Ash Quarterly. Online though, if you do want to, get in on the reviewer packs or any of the other stuff we have on there, we don't, again, we don't try to compete with retail, so we don't have a lot on there. Some grab bags, stuff like that. But we did put together a little code for Smokin Tabacco. So ST15 gives you 15% off whatever you want.
Check that out. There you go.
And also, when you buy from us, we do Cigar for Warriors. It's 5, 4 for you, 1 from them. So we donate 1 cigar for Warriors. And last year we collaborated with Alec Bradley, and we donated a 1,200 cigar for Warriors, and it was amazing. And it was the highest gross profit of executive was that night.
Oh yeah, that was a busy event. That was before we were even working here. We just did the launch here.
It was amazing.
Wow.
But yeah, no, it was great.
Oh, that's really awesome.
Had 2,200 made and donated the majority to Cigars for Warriors.
Is that something that you guys are going to do again?
So we had it lined up with Alec Bradley again this year, and then the STG acquisition kind of threw a wrench in that. So we're in talks with a few other people right now, because that's the goal. Instead of just donating random cigars, we want to kind of do a collaborative, thing like that. Which Alec Bradley, I mean, I loved what they did, was taking a blend they already had, the Prensado, and do it in a unique size, throw our logo on the footband, and that's perfect.
And our cigar was in a music video, which was like 4 times at executive. It was, what was the singer's name?
So
Jelly Roll?
No. That was interesting. Shoot. So everyone, I'm sure, knows Waylon Jennings, like country music legend. At least heard the name.
Of course.
So it's his grandson, Struggle Jennings, who's like a kind of like one of those country rap kind of things.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not stuff I typically listen to, but the song was actually really catchy. It's him and Bravo Gator, How I Feel, or How You Feel, something like that.
3 or 4 times they up close. It was pretty cool.
Well, and I mean, they were in the lounge the whole time. They're actual cigar smokers. They bought a lot of cigars to take with them, and it's not just the Alec Bradley Ash Quarterly cigar. There's a lot of cigars in there.
I regret not going that day for sure.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That is really cool.
That sounds like a super fun event.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, just these guys. I mean, the whole video, I think it only took them like 3 hours. I thought it was going to be longer than that.
It was mostly all in executive and some outside by the boats.
Oh, that's really cool. That's and then you get a little bit of exposure there too, which always helps.
Yeah,
it always helps.
Well, that's why I gave him that cigar too. I was like, "Oh, smoke this one."
Yeah.
Hoping like maybe I'll get in the video, and it's right there, close up. I was like, "Perfect, all right."
Oh yeah, I kept watching and kept counting. Like, is this really happening?
Job well done.
Yeah.
Jason knows what's going on over there. But yeah, take
Yeah,
this
a
one.
little bit. It's
Well,
sneaky, you know.
guys, I wanted to say thank you for being on the show with us this week. We really appreciate it. It's always great to see both of you guys. Once again, guys, you can always go and visit smokintabacco.com for all of the latest news and updates from the cigar industry, as well as cigar reviews and everything else that's going on. You can find all of our past shows there, as well as the links to our YouTube channel, our social media sites, and as well as all of the podcast sites that you can download and listen to our episodes anywhere, anytime. So don't forget to like and subscribe. And this Saturday night, we will be back with spare notes. Yeah, that's true, Mitchell, right? Yeah, that's right. Because we.
I will not be there though.
You will not be there.
I won't. No.
Okay. Well, I gotta reach out to Coop then and just make sure he's still good to go. But I'm pretty sure we said it was gonna be this week, so I think at least me and Coop will be there. And we're gonna get into on the next spare notes series. We're gonna talk more about PCA a little bit more. Obviously, it's that time of the year. We only have a couple of episodes until the show. So make sure you tune in for that, and we will be back next Wednesday night on our regular scheduled night and programming, and we will see you then. Take care, guys.
Have a good
Bye,
night.
everyone.